It's real simple. You got 2 more quarters and that's it. Now, most of you have been playing this game for 10 years. And you got 2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again as long as you live.
My goodness, that's a true statement from Coach Gaines from the movie Friday Night Lights, a movie based on the high-stakes sport of high school football in small-town Texas. If you're raising a student athlete, you know that the journey is filled with big wins and learning moments. And so this morning, we're kicking off our mini-series geared towards helping parents raise their student athletes. And today, I'm joined by Coach Reggie York Jr., CEO and coach of Spring Prep University, to share encouraging tips and advice when it comes to athletes and their mental health. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
So good. So glad that you're here to have this conversation. It's so timely as well as we enter that summer season. We know the kids are already training and ready to go.
Yes.
And so if you could first tell us how you help students when it comes to training, mental health, and overall improvement.
Yes. First off, thank you for having me.
Of
I'm
course.
excited to be here. I'm excited to be part of such an important conversation. I've been doing this for over a decade. I've helped hundreds of students, whether it's from the 6-year-old trying to find their swing in the batting cage to a collegiate athlete calling me just needing a mental boost in the middle of their freshman year of college. So it goes without saying that there's a lot that goes into it, but I help bridge the gap between parent and student athlete.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so what are some of the most, maybe, do you see common mental health challenges that a student athlete faces?
Yes, these student athletes go through way more than what I went through coming up playing sports, whether that's cyberbullying, the expectations from family, friends, coaches, most of all, social media.
Yes.
It's such a distraction now. So I like to focus more on what we can do to help combat that. What solutions do we have to solve that problem? And it's not one size fits all.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially when it comes to social media, because one, they're obviously a student first, right? So they're going to school, and school comes with its natural challenges, right? But then also you tie in a sports tie into that, and next thing you know, you have everybody talking about the game on social media and whether you did well or whether you didn't do well. And I think that's huge, especially in Texas, because Texas is a very competitive sports state. And so for parents who are maybe new to that sports world, what are some things that their kids may experience in this space that they don't know about?
Absolutely. I think the most important part is these parents creating a safe space for their student athlete, creating a community. They can't do it alone. And so these students need a space to where they can answer questions that may be difficult for them to answer, but also it helps that improve that relationship that they have.
So let me ask you this, because like I said, it is a huge state. It's a huge thing, sports in Texas. And so there's also a lot of pressure, I think, that goes into that. You want to be good, you want to be the best, especially when there's thousands upon thousands of athletes here in this state. So what would be your advice for building that confidence, especially in the beginning? And
training. There is no trainer in the state of Texas, yet alone the nation, that would disagree with me saying the more confident a student athlete is in their ability, the more confident they'll be on and off the field. And so just putting that time into the sport that they say that they love and focusing on improving their skill set.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously they have big dreams, right? Especially when they get into sports. Most kids, when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they say some sort of sports star. And so obviously you want to manage those expectations, but you want them to have success and to reach their goals. And so how do you ensure that most of these athletes can find balance between the sport and being a student?
Yes, again, like I said earlier, it starts with the parents at home. And with Spring Prep University, I help bridge that gap, whether it's in person or virtually, between parent and player, and creating that safe space and making sure they find that balance off the field, because there is a lot of pressure on the field. And so making sure that we increase their mental wellness, and sometimes we do that during yoga, and then other avenues outside of just focusing on the results on the field.
Yeah, okay, so tell me a little bit more about your prep university, because you were talking to me before the show started, and you were telling me that you have all sorts of sports under your belt.
Yes, we do. I have competitive cheerleaders, we have soccer players in high school, college, and on the youth level. I played baseball, so we have a lot of baseball players, softball, and the list goes on. So we help all athletes of all ages, but most of all, the program ties in the parents to the athlete.
Yes.
It takes, again, a village, a community. This is where the mentorship comes in at, and making sure that these student athletes have the tools that they need to excel in their sport, increase their mental wellness, and of course the physicality.
You know what? I think when you have both of those tied in together, obviously the program, but also the parenting, like you said, it takes a village.
Yeah.
I think it creates that environment where they have a safe space, where they have support, where they can say, oh my gosh, this was not a good game. How do I recover from this, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to have that support is so incredibly important to our mental health and to their mental health as they are developing. This is a very impressionable stage. Tell me, how can people get involved in your prep university, or where can people find more information?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook at Spring Prep University. You can find me on Instagram also at Spring Prep University. My personal page is Reggie's Bucket. And I'd love to have a communication, the conversation with parents before we get into a program, finding out where they are as parents, finding out where their student athlete is, and customizing something that fits them and excels to reach the goals that they want to set.
Very good. Well, a personalized plan never hurt nobody.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. We really appreciate
Thank you, Aaron, for having me. I appreciate it.